What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 pens that I regret / will never, ever buy again. Because I just did not have a good time with them, and there's a couple of reasons for all of these 5, in which I will put pictures on the screen here, and I do have actual reviews and videos of all 5 of these pens. Spoilers, there's 6 because there's not a honorable mention. I have all reviews of them. I remember genuinely enjoying them when I did the review, but as time goes on, I realized I didn't actually really like them as my taste changed, as my styles changed, as I just started to use the pen more and more and more. And almost all of these were pretty old videos. I've changed a lot of my review stuff, where if I'm using a pen that I've never used before, then I'm going to use it for minimum 1 month before I actually make a review video for you all. And if I do a review before that 1 month, then I will say that, and I will call it my first impression. Because first impressions sometimes can differ from how you end up actually enjoying the pen. When I first started this channel, like almost a decade ago, I didn't do that. I would use a pen for a few days and then film the review. And that was for 2 reasons. One was because I didn't have that much content to make, so I wanted to get it out. And also, I didn't have the backbone, basically, to tell people who wanted me to review their stuff that they'd have to hold on, basically. They would send it to me, and they would want that turnaround time ASAP, which from their point of view, I get. But now, when people do reach out to me, again, if I've never used your pen before, if I'm very unfamiliar, like, when Benu sends me a pen to review, I can do that pretty darn quickly because I'm intimately familiar with the Benu products. But if I've never, ever, ever used it, like when I did the, where is it here? Meg 600, I haven't technically done a full review of this pen yet. It's just been that first ink up, that first impression, because I've never used a pen like this before. And so I don't want to do a review and say stuff, and then all of a sudden, many years later, have this. So that's the preamble there. Little behind the scenes, if you will. So let's just jump into it because it's almost 3 minutes in already and I haven't even started. So the very first one is the Visconti Rainbow Arc Filler. This is the one that I probably regret and will never buy again the most. None of these are really labeled 1 through 5, but if I had to put a number 1 all time, this would be it. For a couple of reasons. One, it was stupidly expensive. I was nowhere near ready for that level of expense. All of my expectations were not what I had anticipated. I thought with a pen that was this expensive, it would be the best thing since sliced bread, and I really let that affect the way that I viewed that pen. I went in with such bias, thinking this pen is amazing, I must love this pen, and then over time when I started to realize I don't love it that much, I convinced myself that I did because I spent so much dang money on it, which I'm sure you've all done. The 2 biggest drawbacks to this pen is the filling system, the Rainbow Arc, or the Arc Filler. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, it's cool and I get it, but it is difficult and it is a pain, and good luck cleaning that out. The nib with its weird tubular design and the sack on the inside is just irritating. It was impossible to clean it out. It would take an hour to clean out one fountain pen. And to boot, it didn't write that great. It did write, but it had I swear baby's bottom, which I didn't know at the time was baby's bottom, but it would hard start a lot. Especially as I started to use the pen more and more and more. It was just it was bad. I sold it, never looked back. Actually, I remember when I sold it, it was a relief to sell it, but at the same time, like I remember having a conversation with somebody, and it was at the Toronto Pen Show. We're going to diverge a little bit here, where the person was like, because it was a rainbow design pen, they were like, is this rainbow because it's rainbow? Like, mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know. What does it matter? And this person looked at me dead in the face, like, well, I'm not going to buy it if it's that rainbow. And so I literally looked her deadpan back in the face and be like, then don't. Like, what the heck? Anyway, that's a story time that I'll never forget about that pen. So don't fall into that trap of just thinking a pen is going to be amazing because it's super expensive. That was definitely the first eye-opener for me, very early on in my journey. And while I can't say I've never made that mistake again, I've never made that mistake where once I've gotten the pen, I just pretend it's amazing. I now know if it's amazing or not. So the next one is the Lamy logo. This pen, while I liked the look of it, it wasn't for me. I'm not a huge fan of any Lamy pen except for the 2000. I love that pen. But like the All-Star, the Safari, things like that, it's just, they're fine. It is a perfectly passable pen. It's just not really the writing style that I want. The nib is extraordinarily hard, and I don't really love that. It just doesn't give me the comfy cozy vibes, basically, when I use it. And the Lamy logo is no exception. In fact, it's actually a little bit worse, because while the writing style is the same as every other steel nib Lamy pen, the body itself is a little slimmer, which I don't love, and like it just the ribbed grip section, not for me. And I love the color. I wish there was more colors like that. I mean, they did a dark lilac too, but like, yeah, just wasn't for me, just wasn't for me. But I didn't know that at the time. And what I also didn't know at the time was when I got the Twsbi Classic. This is my honorable mention. It's not technically what I'm going to put in the official 5, but it's pretty close. And it's because, again, I'm not going to get into it. You all know I have a love-hate thing with Twsbi because I want to love their pens so much. They're solidly built. They're phenomenal. But I just don't love the way that they write. Very similar to Lamy in that they are hard nails. And most of the ones that I have are not wet enough for my liking. And the Classic, I actually had a lot of problems with the build itself of the pen. So again, the writing was the same, very hard, a little on the dry side. It was a heavy pen, which most Twsbis are not heavy. The Classic is a lot of metal, so I don't love that. But it just kind of was like falling apart on me, and it was just like, this doesn't seem like Twsbi's style, like Twsbi's reputation for quality build. It was just, yeah, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. But I did like putting Pilot Oroshizuku Yamabudo in it. That was a nice combo. And then the next 2 are from the same company, and I would be very curious to know what their pens are like now, because I have not used any of their pens from this company in many, many, many years, and both of them are from a company called Bexley. So you'll have to let me know in the comments section down below if you have ever used Bexley before, if you've liked it. If you haven't liked it, why not? I'm going to put them both at the same time. They are the Bexley Gaston Bear and the Bexley Sleeve Filler. The sleeve filler I won't say a ton about because it is very similar to my complaints about the Visconti Rainbow Arc. With its cleaning style, and it's just weird because it's like a barbell shaped pen, which I thought was cool and unique at the time, but now I just realize I don't like it. It's silly. And it was a very skinny pen as well. The Bexley Gaston Bear was also a bit of a weird physical design that, again, just isn't really my style. One thing I will say about both of them is they were pretty smooth riders. I remember that. They were not super stiff, but the Gaston Bear would burp on me with a good amount of inks. Again, this was a company that I wish I'd spent more time with these pens before I did the review and tried them out with more inks. Again, now when I spend a month with a pen, I try it out in at least 4 different inks. I know a couple inks that are prone to having issues, a couple inks that are solid, and I will usually try them with all of those inks to give it a fair shot for the video. And the Gaston Bear would burp a fair amount. It was a very broad writing experience, which wasn't for me. And just, they were just so strange. They were just strange. And I am not a stranger to strange pens now. But they're just weird. And yeah, the sleeve filler, it's not for me. I will never buy a pen with the sleeve filler again, because unless I think it is the best thing since sliced bread, I will put 1 ink in that and never change it ever, because they are such a pain in the hole to clean. So while both of these Bexleys are not the worst of my offender list, I had to put them on there because I've never once even looked back at the brand again. So, but I am curious to see, because I haven't even looked into the brand. I don't even know if the brand is still around. That's how little I've looked into this brand. And then the last one I will mention is the Aurora Ipsilon fountain pen. I don't like that pen at all. It is probably one of the worst writing pens that I've used. And I love Aurora. I have 3 Auroras. I have at one point had many, many other Auroras, but I've since narrowed down my collection because I was like, this is just too many. I can't use all of these. That's just too much. And I got the Aurora Optimas before I ever used the Ipsilon. And I think that was my problem. Or the blessing. I don't know, because I never maybe would have gotten the Optimas had I tried the Ipsilon first. The biggest beefs that I have with that one is that the grip section was crazy narrow and the nib was so dry. So dry. My goodness. So stiff. Wasn't like the smoothest writing experience. It wasn't like scratchy or anything. It's just, it was bad. It was, like I said, really dry, so stiff, and like basically take like a Twsbi feel to it, but make it 100 times worse. It was just, yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. And none of them are very attractive looking pens either. Not to say that they aren't for someone, because all of these are going to be for someone, just not for me. So I will pretty much never ever buy them. Like I said, if I had to pick a number 1 worst offender off of this list, it would be the Visconti Rainbow Arc Filler. Aurora Ipsilon would probably be sneaking in 2nd place. In 3rd place would probably be the Lamy logo. And then the 4th and 5th place would be both the Bexleys, with the Twsbi Classic being an honorable mention, if I had to label them. But I'm curious to know what your top 5 would never buy again fountain pens in the comments section down below. I'm glad that I had the chance to use these pens, because now I know. Because I'm a true believer in you have to go through the suck to find the gold. So yeah, I'm curious. What are yours? While you're down there, you might as well hit the like and subscribe. Check out the Patreon if you want to help support me further in this endeavor here on YouTube. I'm going to be making a fair amount of videos while I not so patiently await for book 5 of Stormlight Archive, because I'm ready. It is Wednesday. It comes out on Friday. I am so pumped. Cannot wait to read, especially because Brandon Sanderson has said that this book is going to make a lot of people happy and a lot of people very mad. So it'll be interesting to see what side of that I fall on. I might have to do a short about it when I'm finished the gargantuan, like 1,400 some odd page book. But any hoozles, I will let you get on with your day. And as always, I'll see you next time.